Shall we begin?
Hello, friends, and welcome back to the More Than Just Keto podcast. This is season 2, episode 2. I am one of your hosts, Ashley.
And I'm your other host, Molly. And today we're going to be talking about a topic that is a great one, but a lot of people don't like it. Accountability. We need it, but we don't always want it. Am I right?
Yes. And we say we want it. Right. And then sometimes it's like, but do we?
But do we really?
I mean,
it sounds good in theory.
Right. Exactly. Is it that important? I'm here to tell you, definitely. It's super, super important. In fact, it's on the top, maybe 10 things that you gotta have. Mm-hmm. I think it's important, regardless if it's immediately in your family accountability or around you and in person, or if it's on social media or a support group, like whatever that looks like. I think it's a component that's really important.
Yeah, we've talked about accountability and how much we really appreciate it now. And I know for you, you really didn't have much around you.
Yeah, I mean, keto is not a mainstream diet, really, right? There's the chances of you knowing like a bunch of people that are currently doing it are not as common as, a lot of people are familiar with Atkins. A lot of people are familiar with different types of, Whole30, things like that. They've been around for a really long time. But as far as keto goes, it's still kind of new. It's not nearly as new as it was a couple years ago. But I still don't know anybody in my immediate life besides my mom and I that do this. Like no one at work does this. A couple people have. Majority of people are following more of a mainstream diet, right? So for me, my husband was not keto. My kids weren't keto. My mom was. That's how I found out about keto, but she doesn't live here. And so I didn't really have any immediate physical in real life support from the very beginning of my journey. And I had gym partners and things in the past and had friends that we dieted with, but we kind of did different things and tried to hold ourselves accountable. But I knew I needed something almost devotional, if that makes sense. Like I needed to have a space that was not only about documenting and support, but I really needed to show up and be honest about what I was doing.
I love that you called it devotional. I love that.
Yeah.
What a great way to look at it.
I did. I needed to devote.
You were devoting yourself on a daily,
to
consistent.
Myself.
Yeah.
And to be consistent. And it's really funny because I knew I needed to do it, but I wasn't sure, just like every other time. We start these diets and, if you've done this many, many times, as I have, and a lot of us have, you don't know if you're going to stick it out. You don't know if you're going to make it. You don't know. And so at first I was like, well, I need to, prove to myself that I'm committed and that I can get to this place before I make a social media page that I may not even keep up with. Right. So I had already kind of like wagered in my mind what it was going to have to take for me to be successful enough to want to share my journey, because I wanted to make sure I was authentic. Right. And then I was like really doing this thing this time. So it wasn't until month 4 that I actually started my keto Instagram, Holy Mother of Keto. I, at that point, had enough success. I felt like, you know what? I'm doing really good. I need to make sure I don't lose this. And that's what caused me to start that Instagram account. I did not do it for anything other than accountability and hopefully support, because I didn't know anybody really that was doing it besides my mom.
Right.
And she does it a little bit different than I do. And I wanted to be exposed more to different ways that people are doing keto and get to see people's food and, them telling their story and sharing their journey. And I was really invested in this process. And so I was like, you know what? That's it. I'm doing it. Like, I'm going to create this and I'm going to be accountable.
Yeah.
And I am going to show up.
And how long has it been now?
It's been 2 years and some change. Well, since I started the Instagram account, it'll be 2 years in October. I want to say 8th.
Okay. Mine's March. March was 2 years for me with the Instagram account.
With the Instagram, yeah. So
God, you came after me. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. I tell people now to do it right away, but even I, was a little nervous, a little scared. I mean, I
Well, it is a
realized
little scary. It's a
it
little scary.
is.
You're
It
putting
is to
yourself out
share.
there. You're
You
being
are.
vulnerable. You're sharing
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
And you're opening yourself to be judged. And there is a component of that that's is nerve-wracking. And you're not, in the very beginning, you're not so sure you got this thing down or you're doing
Right.
things right. And you're like, well, somebody's gonna come after me. And I got really lucky. I didn't have those experiences. I've had nothing but love and support. And when I say that, I mean it. Like
Yeah.
nothing but love and support.
From
I don't
Instagram.
I would I'm telling you this right now. I would not have made it this far had I not had to show up not only for myself but my friends and the community that I created and the community that I was in and supporting others, made
Has
support return to me and people that were vulnerable enough to get on their stories and share what they were going through made me feel strong enough to do it.
empowering.
And it is super empowering, yeah.
Yeah. Love that.
And it's why I share now and today and always encourage others. It's why I always tell the truth, good or bad, what I'm going through, what I'm doing in an effort to make someone else feel like I did back then. I think it's really important.
Oh, so important because then people can relate and they can find hope because you've had such
That's important.
success. And
Yeah.
so they can see you and say, wow, okay, so she felt like this. This is how I'm feeling. But look at her now.
Right.
She kept going. And that's
So
always
important.
my like motive for posting what I do. It's like
Yeah.
I always
Connection.
hope it never comes across. This is what I always say. I hope it never comes across like I'm boasting about what I've done or look at me, look at
Yeah,
me.
no,
It's
I feel that
never
same way.
about that. It's
No.
about, hey, look, you can do this
We're
too.
in this
It's to
together.
give hope. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like I can do that if I can, and
If I can
I'm
do
saying
it,
this for real,
you,
for real. If
yeah,
I
me
can
too.
do this, listen here.
Yeah.
Listen
Yeah.
here.
Yes. I hear you.
Whoever's out there listening to that, you can
You
do it.
can.
Because your girl was a hot, 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 hot mess. She was a whole hot mess. We love her. We love her, but we love her now more. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I just
Look,
take much, much better care of myself. But
absolutely. And you've
so
worked hard
now,
and it's paid off. So
exactly.
I've
So now with
seen,
you had accountability. You had a taste. You like
yeah,
dipped your big toe in accountability pond
kind of a whole
and had a
foot.
different
Yeah.
experience, right?
Yeah. Well, for me, I, like you, had tried a lot of different diets and I had some friends over the years. We go do Zumba together
Oh
or we
yeah,
go to the
yeah.
gym
Yes, I
together.
did that with my
That was
mom.
fun.
Yeah, yeah, I
But
did that too.
but it never stuck. It was just like a brief time and then it would go
Yep.
away and I gained the weight back or hardly lost a thing because we really just went and had smoothies. And
You were like, hey, let's go to the gym. And then, like, if we get a margarita after, that'd be great. And then also, like, maybe just like one thing of chips and salsa instead of two. We
right. I
really
mean,
worked
we
it
did
off.
do
Let's go.
Zumba. So come on. No.
We burned a lot, like 600 calories, so we can eat about 300 of that back. Let's go. Yeah. No, I get
Right.
that.
It wasn't devoted. It was
Yeah.
not devoted.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I did that, gosh, for forever, like years and years and years, on and off, on and off, on and off, decades, right? So, we know the story. I've shared it before. 41 years old, just had, a baby the year before. Dad passed away, shortly after that. And I just really was like, "Oh, I've got to do something. I need to do something." I was obese. I was feeling terrible about myself, feeling sick body wise, lots of ailments, lots of issues, pre diabetic, high blood pressure. I mean, I had it all.
Yeah.
And skin
I get that.
issues, just so much. And exhaustion, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and certainly not confidence. Looking in the mirror, I'd be like, this is what happened to you, Molly. Like, I just, yeah.
Didn't recognize yourself almost, right?
No.
Like,
So,
yeah.
yeah, and I woke up and I just needed to change. And so for me, social media was the big helper because I was on social media. I had a personal account. I posted about my baby, my new baby.
Yep.
That was
Yep.
mostly what I posted about.
Hashtag mom life.
But I was watching all these healthy people and I'd see all their pretty food and I would see what they ate in a day. And like, I'm a fan of that. There are people that dog on that. And I'm like, shut up. If someone was to post their food, let them post their food. It's helping somebody. I know it helped me years
right.
ago. So yeah, I saw it. I was following that. And then I guess it just happened that, how they'll show you things or something will come up as you're looking at a hashtag or something. I mean, this was a few
Like
years ago. Like it didn't have that little
suggested or
search
something.
page back then, but
Right.
it was like a hashtag or something that came up, and there was this one girl, and she had this beautiful post, and she was talking about accountability, and I was like, accountability. I could use some accountability. So I messaged her, and I was like, I'd like some accountability. What can I do? Now, little did I know, I didn't know it was an MLM. I didn't know she was going to sell me something. Like, I didn't know she was going to try to recruit me into her tribe. Like, I didn't know all
Oh
that.
yeah.
I was so new to the fitness world that I just wanted to get healthy. I was desperate. And there was this person saying they had a free accountability group. I was like, hey,
That's what I want. That's what I
awesome.
need.
Yes. So I took it. I was like, okay. So I messaged her. She said, oh, yeah, okay. Well, this is what I have for you. This is what you get. So it's only this amount of money and you're worth it. Invest in yourself. And I was like, okay, because I am. Okay, I can do this. Right. So I did. Fast forward, the accountability was wonderful. I loved this whole idea. It was so new for me to have all these women who were after the same thing. They just
Yeah.
wanted to feel good. And you were connecting with like-minded people, and you were like getting excited about each other's story, and you were cheering each other on when they do their before and afters. It was like, go girl. It was such a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And I will still
Positive
say,
and yeah.
absolutely. And I still say it's a wonderful thing. Now, the part, of course, I didn't like is the business aspect. And so I got out of that because that just wasn't for me. Just not for me. But I
you learned what
always
you needed.
appreciated
Right.
the accountability. And I realized how very important it was, because it really
valuable,
did
yeah.
help to show up regularly, to share with people. Like, I led accountability groups even because, oh my gosh, it was like my favorite
Yeah.
thing, because I love to encourage. So I was
course.
all about it. But I just wasn't good at sales, and I never sold anything. I just would have free groups and say, no, you don't need to buy anything. Just come on.
Just
That
hang
was
out.
me. That's why I
Yeah.
never made it in that life. I never made it. But anyway, it was just the greatest. What I didn't realize, okay, I didn't realize that I could find that without having to pay for it, without having
Yeah.
to be exclusive,
Exactly.
doing one thing in this bubble. And I found it when I found Instagram keto community. That's
Yeah.
where I found it. Now,
Super supportive.
they're doing keto, but then you also met people who are doing low carb, and you also met
Exactly.
people
There's a
doing
lot of different
carnivore.
types of
And
people. Yeah.
yeah, but they were
But everybody's
all
supportive of whatever.
right.
There's not a lot of judgment as
Not a
far
lot of
as,
judgment, and
yeah.
nobody's trying to get me. Like,
And
that was the
everybody's
big
trying to be helpful.
trying to be helpful. No one's trying to gain anything from me. You know what I mean? They're givers. Like, it's just they give.
Yeah.
And that's what I am. We're givers. Like, we're not trying to sell anything,
No.
but we just want to give and
wanna
share
help
and
people and
inspire
share
and
and-
encourage and give hope and
Yeah.
all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my experience with accountability, and I definitely learned how very important accountability is, and I'm all about it. I'm all for it, for sure.
I definitely think that sometimes people forget that accountability is a form of support. A lot of times they're like, oh, it just means, I've got to tell the truth. I've got to be honest if I messed up. Yes, that is a massive component of success, is owning up to your own stuff and showing up for yourself,
Right.
and being honest. And that means even saying when you don't do well.
Right,
Because
right.
when you share everything, and especially, it's almost even more important that you share that you mess
Yeah.
up, because you create a safe space for everyone to be really honest. And that only in turn just makes everyone want to tell the truth and makes the community better, which in turn makes yourself better, right?
Right.
When we tell even the messy, hairy, nasty stuff, the things we did or the mess ups that we think we had, or whatever it is, when we're just being authentic and we're sharing our journey authentically, showing up for our community, ourselves, being accountable for the choices that we made, good or bad, creates a safe space for everyone to do the same. And
Absolutely.
it just makes accountability easier, better, more supportive, and it really has a lot to do with your success.
I was going to say that, statistically, the success potential goes up so much higher when you have accountability, when you are actively
Yeah.
seeking accountability.
Yeah. I mean, there have been so many times where I have been like, I'm going to make this choice. And I've like storied all day. And I'm like, well, I said I was going to story about this. And I'm like, but if I eat that, then I got to post the macros or I got to post, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And not
Yeah.
in a bad way, just like hmm.
It makes you
Before
think twice.
I wouldn't have thought twice and
Right.
I wouldn't have said, maybe I don't need that or maybe I don't want to do that. It does make you take that second that we often miss
Yeah.
and we just do the impulse thing,
Yeah.
and it makes us say, okay, be present in this moment because you have, you know, told yourself and your community that you're going to tell the truth and that you're going to be honest and you're going to be present and you're going to share.
Yeah.
So you're about to
Now
make this
walk the
choice and you're going to have
talk.
to share it. So you
Yeah.
walk the walk, you talk the talk, whatever.
Right.
Right. It like you're on the path.
Yeah.
Then if you want success, then you're going to want accountability.
It's
If you
true.
truly want to be successful, I don't care what you're doing, you want accountability.
Yeah, because like you said, it's for yourself.
It's for
You're not doing it
yourself.
for other people. Now, if you're doing it for other
No.
people,
Then
which I,
who are you
yeah,
trying to be accountable for? And why?
right. So what's your point of it?
What's your
It's really
why?
for yourself. What's your
And you
why?
talked about this last episode.
Yeah,
Ask
it's
yourself the questions. What's your why? Why do you want to be accountable? Because I want to be successful. Why do you want to be successful? Because I want to lose weight, because I'm not living my best life. Those would be my
yeah,
answers, right?
yeah. They're right.
Ask yourself, why is it that you need accountability?
Exactly.
Maybe you don't have accountability in life. Maybe it's a component you've never had in the past. Maybe this is the little bit of something different that you haven't tried. You know, breaking down what we've done in the past and carving out a new path looks like analyzing your behaviors in all these ways, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. One thing I will say, I'm just listening to you say that a moment ago. And this past week, I've not been showing my food. And for weeks, I was like making a little reel of what I ate.
Yeah.
And I was sticking very well with my plan before this week. This week, I have went this way and went that way. You know how I was not doing the substitutions. Well, this week, 2 days out of the week, I mean, it wasn't a lot, but 2 days. I had Quest chips one day, which I had not had in weeks, and I had 2 carb balanced tortillas or whatever they're called,
Yeah,
the low
yeah.
carb tortilla. I just didn't show my stuff, and so I'm like, dang it, Molly. Maybe if you showed your food, because there is
You
something
would have made a
about
different choice.
when you know you're going to take a picture of your food and you're going to put it together and you're going to show what you're eating.
Yeah.
It makes you pick
Think about what you're eating.
It makes you pick what you planned rather than what's convenient. So
Yeah.
for me, now that's for me. Everybody's different, but you know, not everybody shows their food. Like you say, I don't show my food because I eat the same thing over and over again. You know,
I do. I
and
do eat a lot of the same foods.
I
used
eat
to
a lot
share
of the
more
same
food.
things,
Yeah.
but I kind of change up dinner. But still, I find that when I am doing my weekly check-ins, which I still do, when I am showing my food, when I'm doing these things, that helps me. And I also
keeps
know
you on track.
but it also helps others. But I'm not doing it necessarily for others. I'm doing it for me, and it's like kind of a win-win thing because it's helping
It's like a
me and helping.
byproduct of your, accountability helps others
Right, because like you said,
as well. Yeah.
when you started following the keto community on Instagram, you're like getting ideas for food,
Yeah.
and so that whole community and accountability and motivation and inspiration and
Yeah, there's a
cheerleading
lot of
and
inspiration. It's all
celebrating
that.
and the
Yeah.
real stuff of the downtime. I mean, it really is such a beautiful thing. I mean, obviously we love it. We talk about
Yeah,
it
we do.
all the time.
Well, because I really hold a lot of my success
Right.
from my community and my experience within my community and the kind of life that I've created within it, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I have talked about my mental health on there. I've
Right.
talked about my physical health on there. People joke is like, oh, you guys just get on your stories and talk about your meals. But you know what? When we talk about what we're having for dinner, it's because we're committing to that's what we're doing.
Right.
And it may seem simple and silly to some people, but because I said I was having tacos, I'm not going to get the Quest chips out. I said I was having tacos. I'm going to have tacos. I'm going to show the picture of the tacos. Like
Yeah.
it does. It creates a level of accountability that is really hard to get without having it in
Yeah.
some fashion. If it's not, especially if no one in your family is doing
For sure. And what
too.
what you said just now about some people are like, why are you doing that? Here's the thing. They're not other people in the community looking for accountability, because
Right.
so it doesn't matter if they think it's silly that you're showing
It's
your
for
food.
you.
And that's right. And that's why, like Ashley has said from the beginning, make a separate account for your keto. Like make a
I think
separate.
that's really important. Yeah.
Because it will make
you don't want to feel that judgment, coming from another place.
Yeah, because they're not going to understand. They're not going to get it. You're not. The thing about it is when you make your special account for your keto, you are basically, like Ashley said, devoting. I love that. It's your devotional. It is what you're devoting yourself to. And then you're taking that account, which is a representation of you, and you're putting it within this community of a lot of other accounts of people doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It is this big community, and you all get each other. So nobody's saying, why is she posting her food? They aren't saying that.
This is me. Oh, girl, let me see them tacos.
Yeah, show me. How did you make that? How did you do that?
Good.
Right.
Oh, you know what?
Right.
I want tacos for dinner. Okay, she was having tacos, and I saw this girl. Oh.
Right. Or, I can have that. I can have this. Oh, what is that? Right. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
So it matters. It matters.
Even though it may seem silly to share all the minute details of your life, you don't have to. It took me a long time to do stories. I didn't do them. I feel like my life's been kind of hectic right now, and I don't do it as much as I used to do it. But it's important to just get on there. It's kind of like therapy in a way, to just mind dump of what's going on, share your experience. I guarantee you, at least one person that you're in contact is like, dang, me too, you too, girl, me too. Or is like, man, I really felt that. Or I feel seen or heard, or I feel represented. And I think that's a big deal, to feel represented. And if everybody shows up and represents, everybody's got somebody that
such
they can identify with. Yeah. And everybody has a story that resonates with them. And that's important when we are looking for inspiration and motivation. Motivation is not going to show up every morning like you do to work.
No.
Okay. Motivation's not going to get up in the morning every morning you get up.
It's not your driving force.
You looking under the bed. Sometimes you got to call a friend. You call a helpline. Hey, girl. Yeah, it's me. Yeah, I need some help. That's kind of what this does, right?
Yeah.
Hey, girl, tell me I'm not going to eat that. Yeah, I'm not eating that. Yeah, you're right. I'm not going to eat that. Yeah.
Remember those jeans?
I know I got to post that later. Yeah, you're right. I'm not going to post that. So sometimes a lot of us have internal motivation, and everybody knows what that is, right? You get yourself fired up, and this is the perfect time to mention this, right? Because it's a new year, you've got gusto that you know you're going to have to be chasing down later, and right now you're ready and you want to do all the things, and we have that, what's called internal motivation, right?
Right.
Sometimes you're not going to wake up with that. Right.
And that's when our
routines are really important.
It's normal.
Because when we don't have internal motivation, we have to have discipline or external motivation.
Yeah.
So if your discipline isn't good yet because you're new, where's the other component? How are you going to get this?
Accountability.
Your community is going to give you external motivation sometimes when you don't feel like doing it, right? So you show up and you're like, girl, I messed up. I'm not going to the gym today. I'm feeling tired. And your girl's like, girl, you go to the gym, like do your thing. You like get out here in these streets and get this done, right? Like live your best life because you deserve it, or just gives you support, whatever, and gives you that motivation that you sometimes cannot create for yourself.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 2 years. There are still some times I have to talk my own self into or get on my story and say I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
So that people are like, yes, you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to do it. And it gives me the motivation that maybe I wouldn't have had and that I need. Even this far in, my internal motivation doesn't always kick in. And I need help. That's what the community provides.
That's really good.
Important. It helps you stay on track longer than if you don't have it. And it shows up for you when maybe you wouldn't have shown up for yourself.
That's really good. Yeah, that's really good. I actually just in the last couple weeks, there's been a couple stories where someone has worked out and they're like, gosh, I didn't feel like doing it today. And that's happened to be the day I was like, God, I don't feel like working out today. But then they did it. And I'm like, Molly, get up and do it. Huh?
You can do it, Molly. You can do it. Yeah. And you're like, I'm going to get up. I'm doing it.
I'm doing it. And then I was able to tell that person, thank you for posting that.
I needed
because it helped me to get my butt up and just do it. And they're like, oh my gosh, really? Wow. So that's the stuff that happens. That's the magic.
That's the magic sauce.
Yes.
It is.
Love it.
hopefully after listening to this, if you don't have accountability in your life, you can go out there and create some. You can certainly head over to More Than Just Keto, the Cheese Knees, Holy Mother Keto, if you need some accountability, some motivation, some love back, and some
Yeah.
support, because that's what we're all about here, right? We
Yes,
just
indeed.
want to make ourselves better, share our journeys, help others, and offer support because it's
Yes.
so, so important. So if you didn't think it was important before,
No.
maybe this sheds a little light on how it plays such an active and important role in being successful, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because we love seeing people sharing their journey, sharing their lifestyle, posting about it. We like seeing the food. We love celebrating you,
Yeah.
cheering you on, and just encouraging you and also inspiring you. So, like Ashley said, come follow us. We'll follow you back. We love the connection. We love meeting new people on a
Yeah.
journey. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you. We're going to look for you. So,
We love you and we'll see you next time.
see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for joining us today. You can find and connect with us over on Instagram at More Than Just Keto. Don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss out on the fun. We'll see you next time.